How do I choose a career is one of the most complicated decisions that one needs to take in the lifetime, especially after class 10 or class 12. One, you need to decide between science, commerce, arts, and then you need to decide between a specific field such as chartered accountancy or MBA, engineering, or medical, law, or the emerging fields. So now there are these 10 rules that I'm going to talk about today, which could be pointers in terms of helping you decide what is the appropriate framework. Now, this choice will need a lot of self introspection because you are your best judge. Along with that, you can also take some external help. Let's say go for some career counseling, take the help of psychometric tests. Now, psychometric tests are not the panacea of the whole thing, as in, it's not that I'll go to a psychometric test, they are going to take a 2 hour test and give me, okay, yeah, you're good for event management. That rarely happens. So I am not a big fan of that per se. But then there are these 10 rules. Number one, the rule of passion. Now, I have to spend almost 50% of my active life post academics on the work front. Now, this, if I am doing something which is not to my liking, then it can be a terrible mistake. On the contrary, if there are things which I am really passionate about, for example, if I am a real geek in terms of computing, even things like website design, animation, and graphical user interface, today there are options where I can really monetize my passion. Same for a passion for photography. So the kind of demand that is there for even things like pre-wedding shoots and event photography, now I can make a career. So it depends completely on where is my passion. It cannot be something which I really hate. So for example, if I hate numbers and I want to build a career in corporate finance, that cannot happen because corporate finance will be day in and day out just numbers. So that's the first rule. What's the rule of passion telling you about your career choice? The second thing will be the rule of competitive advantage. So all of us have been given a specific skill set by God, by the culmination of environmental factors at play. So by dint of being in a Marwadi family, I will have a clear acumen towards business. So I can manage my shop of motor parts very well. Now it will be a great folly if I am not utilizing that competitive advantage and going for a career in academics, which is not really required, because that's my natural instincts tell me that I am very good in business. I can take decisions very quickly. I can manage customer expectations. Similarly, if I am a very good student and I want to build a career in network marketing, going to random people and trying to tell them that okay, you become part of the chain for 10,000 rupees and then you will further make more people into your chain. Now that is something which even a not so great academic student can do, right? In that case, my being a school topper and then opting for network marketing can be a bad choice because I am not having competitive advantage in this particular field. So that is one thing that you need to understand, that what is that God gift that is given to me in terms of skill set, where in an overpopulated country like India, I will be clearly able to be amongst the top of the top. So be go so good that they cannot ignore you. So that's the second rule, the rule of competitive advantage. The third rule will be the rule of biases and information gaps. I don't want to go for CA because it has a lot of memory. I don't want to go for chartered accountancy because there are so many chartered accountants. So I want to do something different. What is that different? I want to go for actuaries. But what is the demand for actuaries? I am not very sure. So those are not very wise decisions if you are taking on that. Basis information gaps. I want a career in India and I want degrees like a CPA or an ACCA or a CIMA to give me a job here. Is the job scenario as lucrative as a CE or an MBA? Not very sure. So there are a lot of information gaps which need to be filled before I take my career choice. Right? For example, a career in law, it will require a pedigree in terms of people who are willing to support you throughout your law career. If you start as a fresher, there are no campus placements from your college, the going can be really tough because you need to find people who are willing to give you internships even after becoming a lawyer. Rarely will there be stipend, and that goes on for 3-4 years. So in terms of that being a very big struggle, so that information gap is a big choice, because what happens is that you might want to watch a movie, Damini, and see Sunny Deol saying Tariq pe Tariq and find that this is so glamorous and this is what I want to be. But in terms of reality, a law graduate's life is about back-end research. Very few people will get to appear in front of the high courts and the supreme courts. So a lot of monotonous work, that could be very different. So that information gaps need to be first addressed. You need to talk to people in that field, ask them about what is one day out there. The fourth rule is the law of risk and reward. No, I want to do something which is really amazing, so I want to become an astronaut. But what is the probability of success for someone wanting to become an astronaut is something that I need to be clearly prepared for. Same for something like I want to become a civil servant in India, the UPSC. Now in terms of difficulty level, it is one of the most difficult exams, the prelims, the mains and the interviews, and then getting my desired field. So I want IRS or IFS or IAS. So then there are 6 attempts, and there are people who opt for 3-4 attempts and then only get success. Some go throughout 6 attempts, don't taste the fruits of success. Am I willing to take that kind of risk? This is a choice that only you need to take. So this is the fourth rule, the rule of risk reward. So every career comes along with a baggage of risk and reward. A career, for example, in law, a career in chartered accountancy will be probably more straightforward if there is campus placement and you get interned directly into a company through a student life, and once you qualify you get a straight away job. So the risk reward, the ROI, return on investment, becomes significantly more favorable. So if I want, like I had a video on an international MBA, like an INSEAD, so it's almost a decision worth 1 crore. So am I prepared for that kind of a risk reward? The rewards will also be equally lucrative, but then there's a risk element to it. So am I prepared for that? So that's the fourth rule. Then the fifth rule is the law of financial viability, the law of demand. So are there enough people who are willing to buy the skill set that I will have? So for example, if I want to become a counselor, okay, giving paid advice to people, becoming a mentor, are there enough number of people in the country who are willing to do that? Because let's say in a country like India, people are generally wanting free advice, even though it might be wrong. So I had started an initiative where I told people that you can call me up on the Call Me for app, and it's a paid service, but you get authentic advice. A lot of people are not very happy with that idea because it's advice and that also paid. So that in the current times, the financial viability of such a decision might not be there. But then nowadays, a lot of new careers like event management, journalism, design, be it fashion, be it computer based, have got a new demand. Similarly, a demand factor for something like data analytics, where you are, even if you are average for it, because the demand is so high, you will become successful because there are not enough professionals in the country now. In areas like cyber security, right? Because suddenly demand has exploded, there are not enough professionals. So that's the fifth rule, the law of financial viability, the law of demand that is going to be there. The sixth rule is the law of stakeholder expectations. Now all said and done, I am a function of people who are surrounding me. So while this rule, stakeholder expectations, has a negative connotation in terms of I wanting to become a doctor only because my father wants me to become a doctor, but my real passion lies in journalism or mass communication, then that's one dimension that you need to understand. How do you take care of stakeholder expectations? Never ever give in to choices because your father or your mother or your uncle wants to do it, or because your elder sister is an MBA, you also want to do an MBA. That can be one of the worst decisions of your life. The other thing is also that, okay, if I have a responsibility towards people around me, let's say I am from a middle class family, people have an expectation that I start earning quickly, and I show them a career path where I will do my graduation and then do my masters and do a PhD and then do a 2-year internship and then I'll become a professor. It's a decade long path with one big question mark at the end. So is this meeting the rule of financial viability versus stakeholder expectations is something that I need to understand. Then there is this classic, I've always spoken about this Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh model, where naturally what am I good at? Do I want to become a Brahma in terms of creation? Am I very creative in my outlook? Vis-a-vis Vishnu. So Vishnu is more in terms of maintenance, things in the as is situation, and Mahesh, creative destruction. So what exactly is my creative forces at play in terms of the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh model? That is something that I need to understand. The eighth rule is a similar rule: Laxmi, Saraswati, Durga. What do I really want from a career? Do I want Laxmi? I'm a core Marwadi. Money really understands the whole essence of society for me. Is it Saraswati? Am I inclined towards a career in academics, wanting to become a professor, wanting to write books? Or Durga, I want power, I want a career in civil services, I want 1,000 people to report to me. So that's the model that I need to take care of. The ninth rule is the rule of mistakes. So you will make wrong choices when it comes to taking career choices. For example, I had taken up science in class 11, eyeing that IIT plus IIM and leading to an investment banker career. So you can go wrong in spite of the fact that no matter how much effort that you do. But life will give you a second chance often to reverse that decision. So after 2 years, I shifted to commerce and restarted my career on a very good footing. So I will make mistakes. You will have to have the largest to forgive yourself for the mistakes and move on. 98% of professionals who were surveyed recently said that what they are doing today is significantly different from what they had envisaged as a career at the age of 18. So that means there is a lot of course correction that is required. So I am have plunged into a particular field, let's say CA, not being able to clear it in 8 attempts. Should I course correction? Yes, I should. So that law of mistake should be there. So that's the ninth rule. And finally the 10th rule, which if you have seen my videos, I'm always a big fan of the rule of destiny, which is going to be at play. So there is a lot of environmental genetic factors, the factor of the progeny that surrounds me. For example, if I'm a third generation lawyer in the family, a third generation chartered accountant, my elder brother is a professor in the US. So this is something which is destiny. I never worked hard to have this kind of equation which supports me structurally in terms of the environment. So that destiny has to play a role in terms of your career choices. So Steve Jobs basically was put up for adoption by his biological parents because they were not very sure whether they will be able to take him through high school education. So the parents who came in promised that they are going to take him to higher education, and then the rest they say is history. So destiny will have a role to play in your career choices. Let's accept that instead of giving that gyan that everything is hard work, everything is strategy. No, it's always effort plus strategy, the whole thing multiplied by luck. So friend, these are the 10 rules that one needs to understand in terms of the career choices. The rule of passion, competitive advantage, the rule of bias or information gaps, risk rewards, the rule of financial viability demand, the rule of stakeholder expectations, Brahma Vishnu Mahesh model, Laxmi Saraswati Durga model, the rule of mistakes, and the rule of destinies. I am sure that if you apply this 10-point framework, this is completely proprietary. You will not be able to get this rule somewhere else. Please apply that judiciously in your life. If you've got any comments, please put it in the section below. I shall be happy to answer. And if you've got friends and relatives whom you think will be benefited by this 10-point framework, please share this video with them. Thank you so much.